for the Brazil region, but that's going to be banned away. So the likes of the Lian Po are opened if Maynard does want to go for that tank route. As you mentioned before, the Sun Bin as well. We'll have to see what KAGE picked first, but they prioritize the Angela instead to make sure that the mid laners don't get banned away.
Yes, and focusing the Orgrin, I think, on the side of VKS is probably a good call, because I think KAGE would actually pick that up again. We've already saw it with them once, paired with the Lung as well. But they do pick up the Dharma, so going against what 90 drafted against them, and arguably probably the best performance on the side of Team Vitality when they were playing against KAGE was 90 on the Dharma. But that targeted ban on the Guan Yu for Niap, that shows you that KAGE's actually done some studying, not only onto VKS and not only onto Team Secret. It really shows that there is a lot going on behind the scenes for this Indonesian team. And as I was saying, that Sun Bin has been highlighted, and oh, we're getting the Shuang Yu come through, which is a Brazilian pick. We haven't seen this for a while. This normally takes place in Chuck BR, but never on the global esports scene. I'm very excited this pick for Niap. This is brutal.
A really, really strong pick, as you mentioned, a pocket pick over in Chop. We was mentioned about the Guan Yu. They banned away the Guan Yu. They were like, okay, we're not going to let you pick the pocket pick. And VKS is like, hey, buddy, I have 2 pockets. I have something else up my sleeve. With that Zhang Yu as well, going to be a very, very strong, more of a tankier hero as well, being played towards the top side, which we normally see a lot of these bruisers played towards the top side. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they adapt with this kind of tankier style in that top side. That's going to be their kind of tank. Well, they do have Hino as well, which, as we know in the jungle, can also play tank. So I mean, this is going to be a super exciting game. First time, I believe, this tournament, from what we know, that we've seen Zhang Yu. But as you mentioned, pick the VKS have already picked up a few times.
Yeah, it's a great hero, to be honest, because one of his skills, he can basically barge you around. So if you're thinking you are safe in that turret, he can literally come from behind, barge you out of it. He has a great zoning ultimate as well, just literally places where he's going to literally swing his sword onto the ground, and you better hope that you can make your way out of it. But pair that with Sunbin Silence from her time-lapse skill, I think it could be pretty deadly. And also having Danny on the high note as well is going to be super interesting. But it's at that point in the standings, VKS have to pull these kind of things out.
Yep. Just to remind everyone of the stakes of this game, KAGE at the moment sitting at 1 and 2. That surprise of victory against Team Vitality that we saw earlier today. VKS sitting at 1 and 3, the big surprise factor at the moment in the EWC, and this is such an important game for both of these two sides. If KAGE can bring out another surprise here, because I think a lot of people would go into this and say that VKS are probably the favorites, but with them also losing to Vitality, like, everyone's beating each other in this group, which I think is super crazy and also super fun as well.
I mean, we've got to think about as well that this is the first time we've seen VKS on the main stage. It could be main stage buff. They have been waiting for this moment to prove themselves in this main stage, and the draft is looking like they are here to prove it. They're like, yo, take the Zhang Fei, take away some of our pocket picks, but we have something in our front pocket for you. And it's so far going okay for both of these teams. Yes, it is a very, very calm early game right now. We're saying a few trades here to 0-0 from the Lady Sun as well. But that's going to be the thing, right? Lady Sun just making sure that itemization gets in place at the right time.
Oh, 100%. I totally agree. And I mean, for the side of VKS, they have just so many slows as well. You know, you have the slow from the Sunbin, you have the slow from the Lady Sun as well. You have Lady Shen that can also slow with her ultimate. So there's so many ways in which they can slow down the likes of the Dharma, the likes of the Luna that like to, you know, rotate around, that like to be super mobile. It's going to be quite difficult for KAGE to try and, you know, make things work in this game. But they do have the Angela, which, as we saw earlier on today, Angela can be a very, very strong pick with just sitting in the bushes, trying to catch them off guard. But I feel like this time around, VKS have a really, really strong front line with that Zhang Yu and also the high line.
Yeah, one thing I've just noticed on the common spell, so we see that they have taken 2 Purifies, so 1 on the Sunbin and 1 on the Lady Sun. I'm assuming that's because of the Dharma, so if they get crashed into the wall, they know that they're not going to be stuck there onto the Dharma. They can try and get out of there, but Movers could not get out of the attack from VKS, taking the first blood. Maina on the Sunbin.
Yeah, really nice gank there as well from Danny, being able to get onto the back line there of Mufas. And with, with Smite being picked up here for Xiongfei, can't really do too much to escape that one, unfortunately. And that's going to be a really nice first blood here for VKS to keep that momentum going so far in this early game. As you can see, they're trying to defend at the moment. One is trying to defend the jungle for VKS, making sure that no sort of invades happen as well. And one thing that happened during the S2 Invitational, which I loved, is the Brazilian players on Lady Shen. As we can see, the play into the mid lane again, the bombs are not going to tick over and do too much damage. But a comment that I made during S2 Invitational is both Loops and Vivo Keed, both their mid laners, two of the best Lady Shen players I think I've ever seen, even throughout even Malaysian teams as well. They play this hero like no other. They play it super aggressively. Sometimes you'll see them flash forward on Lady Shen to try and land the knockups, to try and land a huge amount of crowd control. So I won't be surprised if you see one trying to be the main setup for the team, even with the likes of Niap and Danny playing the tanks.
I mean, one was the FMVP of Season 1 as well, so it really just shows how good of a mid laner he is. But this has been a team roster that's been around for some time, and it's really showing here. Yes, they haven't had the best standing in EWC so far, but Danny is able to use the recall ultimate there on Heino to keep himself alive and keep him in this battle a little bit longer as the Tyrant comes up. But that is a double stun from the Dharma, but there is that Xiongyu push away that VKS are doing right here. That is a 2-0 trade right now for the Brazilian Titans. Yara Habibi, you better run!
Insane play there. The push away in the end from VKS. As you mentioned, that Guan Yu pick coming up absolutely huge here for VKS, making sure that you can get the extra damage in there as well. As we take a look back at the replay, because it was actually, at first, it was Kagendra the ones looking for the engage, but the counter engage was so good. You had the pushback, and then you had the second pushback towards the wall as well. So many ways in which Niap with this pick can create space for his team, which I think is going to be so crucial when you have the likes of Dharma and Luna, which at the moment just can't do enough damage to take down the members of VKS.
Absolutely. If you can kind of control where people can go, and if you can be in control of what that team fight's doing, that's probably the best situation you can be in, and that Xiong Yu is able to do that as well. So Dharma really thinking he had the control in that first part of the team fight, and then Niap was just like, nah, I'm coming in, baby. Coming in, pushing away. And they did get the T1 turret as well. So that was overall a fantastic fight for VKS, really showing that even though they took an L from Team Vitality, they're now 4 up to Kagendra, who's just beaten Vitality, and they've just taken the first Tyrant as well.
Tyrant secured here. You can see how this tank Heino pick can be so frustrating to deal with. Just going to use the ultimate to get away to safety. The CC immune as well. But Dharma, the ultimate against the wall again. One being completely caught off guard, but it is going to be traded back by Sesa on the Lady Sun. The extra slows in the end as well. You can see how annoying it is for Kagendra to jump away. The double kill, but as it is going to be traded back by 0-0. The shutdown gold going over to the long as well. And you're just seeing already in these team fights how annoying it is to play against this squad of VKS. As long as trying his best to try and defend off against the tower, he's going to try and go for the 1v2. Niap is super low on HP. The flash forward, the flash away. Angela, it was so close in the end. Flash is going left, right and center, but Niap survives on 1 HP.
Yep, Niap pulling out the Hail Mary play just to save his life there. But I feel like that Lady Sun double kill, even though we got the shutdown there for a 0-0, I feel like that's going to be a great thing for Lady Sun to just pick up some more gold and just basically further that gap so far between 0-0 and Sesa. But again, we just saw that Kagendra was able to get the Overlord, so a 50-50 split in that early jungle phase is better than losing everything to VKS. Just got to make sure that they maintain this composure and tempo on the side of the Brazilian team, or else Kagendra are definitely going to exploit it if they do see a way in.
Yeah, for sure. You can see that they were just overstepping a little bit there, the trade kill back. I mean, yes, you are going to get the double kills. You're probably going to get more gold onto Lady Sun. But look here, you can see how annoying this high note pick is. This is a sort of high note that we was expecting to see and something that we saw a lot in the S2 Invitational.
Yes.
This tank high note. This high note that can just dash forward and just be in your face, not doing too much damage because he is building tank, but just being super annoying and creating that space again for his team, like the likes of Lady Shen and Lady Sun, being able to do enough damage in the end. But you can see the Juanju trying to do enough damage there, but not going to be able to push back the Luna just yet. She's going to be able to dash away for now.
Yeah, T2 looking to be traded here in the clash lane for that farm lane there, T2 here, but we are seeing Niap looking to give a save grace to his lane. It is Hans against Niap, a true 1v1, but we can see a little bit of a Brazilian rotation coming around here. There's that Zhuangyu ultimate coming through, but it just did not connect, enforcing that flash out of there for Hans.
Yeah, really nice flash there in the end, being able to escape there from the Zhuangyu knock up from the ultimates. But it's going to be able to keep that momentum going. They're going to try and push into this top lane at the moment and secure another tower for them. And that is 4 towers at the moment over to VKS. They have full map control at the moment with this 3,000 gold lead. But as you mentioned, KAGE is still not out of this game yet. This is still going to be a very, very close affair. And it really comes down to who are the carries that can keep themselves alive. Because I feel like both these teams have so many defensive mechanics to be able to, you know, CC, try and defend their carries, like the Sunbin trying to defend the Lady Sun with the extra movement speed, the Zhang Fei trying to defend along with the extra shielding. So it all comes down to who can protect their carry. Because for VKS, Weisacer has been the main carry for this squad for quite some time.
Absolutely. I mean, his performance in Season 2 was phenomenal. He was such an aggressive farm lane player, but it's also, I think it just must be within the Brazilian region because of Zerion Loops as well. He's a fantastic early player also. So it just goes to show that the Brazilian scene, even though they haven't done as great as we thought they would in EWC, but it could be down to the actual quality of the players of the other team, but also just the matchups. And obviously, as the game goes on, it seems like a little bit more of an easy matchup. One almost getting caught out there, but it was thanks to Sunbin just recalling that health onto the Lady Chen. And now we could have a 4v5 here in this mid lane, but a big push down into the farm lane. They need to clear that up before they try and take some fights, or at least try and take the Shadow Overlord, which they're trying to do now. And as you can see, KAGE going for the Shadow Overlord. They want more priority in these lanes, Stu.
Yeah, for sure. Just the trading objectives, pretty standard at the moment at 10 minutes into the game. Really nice adaptation there for KAGE, making sure that they at least get one of the objectives, because sometimes you can funnel onto that Tyrant a lot. We haven't seen other teams just fighting around the Tyrant and losing even though they took the Tyrant, which is something that Vitality did earlier today against KAGE. So really nice adaptation here for KAGE, making sure that, hey, we can't get the Tyrant, that's totally fine. Let's take the Shadow Overlord instead, and let's see if we can try and push one of these lanes. I don't think it has been used yet. It seems like it hasn't been used in any lane yet. So it's going to be curious to see what lane actually gets used on, and you'll see kind of the rotations happen when that Shadow Vanguard gets spawned.
I think they're just probably going to wait till there's like a clear push like this mid lane. But okay, Dharma with a few dashes there, but it gets nullified thanks to Sunbin's healing capability. Seiza coming through with another kill. And that Tyrant, that Shadow Tyrant extra damage buff is huge into these team fights right now. So we see the KAGE forcing that Shadow Tyrant into that clash lane, because if they didn't, they would have lost another T2, which would have been crucial for them. But it looks like Wero is looking to take a T2 from VKS in that farm lane. So a little bit of a trade here may happen across the map.
Yeah, you're seeing that KAGE using that Shadow Overlord defensively rather than aggressively, knowing that they lost the trade. They still lose the tower, though, so even though they tried to use that Shadow Overlord defensively, tried to get that big, massive Vanguard into that lane to try and defend off that Tier 2 tower, they still weren't able to in the end. But as you mentioned, Luna, Roa, going to be able to take that Tier 2 tower on the bottom side of the map. So KAGE still getting trades across the map. This is not like a complete stomp or anything. There are ways in which KAGE are trying to get back into this. They're trying to take some even trades across the board. They are just getting a little bit caught out at times as well. But in terms of the scaling of the two compositions as well, you know, when we get into the stage of the game, you know, we're kind of in the mid game going into the late game at the moment. What team would you say has like the better late game composition?
I mean, as long as they can get a Seiza online, and I mean, so far it's working beautifully. They're feeding over all the buffs to him. He's got red buff and blue buff right now going for him. And then obviously having that strong front line from Niap and Danny, and then obviously one with that huge utility on the Lady Chen, just being able to knock up, say for example, if they can catch these trick shots onto the Dharma or the Luna, I think it's probably going to be a much bigger surprise here for VKS than it is Kagendra. But currently, going into that 30-minute mark, we could see a bit of a brawl here for that higher ground turret, and that brawl is definitely what we're seeing. But Angela is able to try and push away those minions with all her abilities and was able to do so.
You look at the Luna as well. Again, Ruwa trying to split push, trying to push in that bottom side of the map. It looks like it's actually going to get the high ground tower as well. It's going to do enough damage. And Vivo Key just caught completely off guard. I'm not too sure if the minions are going to be doing it. Actually, I feel like he could have probably got that tower and escaped as well with the mobility that Luna had, but they didn't have any vision on the he didn't have any vision, sorry, on the rest of VKS. So he thought that VKS were all recalling back to base, didn't want to die as well, especially with these major objectives spawning. But you're seeing at the moment that Kagendra are doing really well at clearing waves. They have the likes of the Angela and the Long to be able to clear waves very effectively, which means that Luna can be on the opposite side of the map, try and split push down the bottom side, and you can see that it's only about 2 or 3 auto attacks away from being taken down. So really interesting idea, really interesting strategy here for Kagendra, and it's working out pretty decently so far.
Yeah, the split push, rather than using Luna as a clean-up mechanic within these team fights, because of the Niap and obviously Danny being such a strong front line, I think it's not quite viable. If she tries to go to that back line, we'll just see the Zhong Yu just come through and just clean him into the direction that he wants you to be in. But the Shadow Tyrant does go over to VKS once more time, Stu, and that does mean more damage buffs. We see Mufus looking pretty low as well, getting caught out by that Lady Chen ultimate, and then Dharma is just trying to stop this minion wave in the mid lane, but could be getting caught out here. He still has his flash if needs be. The Blazing Brilliance onto the back line as they try and chase the Dharma was a very good call from Kagendra.
You can see right now the extra mobility that Vivo Keys have, being able to rotate so much quicker thanks to Sunbin's movement speeds. You also have the extra poke damage as well from the Sunbin, making it super annoying, and also the slows, making it super annoying for Kagendra to deal with. As you mentioned, again, Kagendra doing extremely well at defending their high ground towers. You can see that Niap went down to the bottom side to make sure that lane was pushed in. I think Vivo Keys have to keep that in mind now, which is going to be something they have to worry about, I think, throughout the rest of this game.
Yes.
Is where is Luna on the map? And you can see straight away, look in the mini-map at the moment at your bottom side. Luna is going 1v1 at the moment against Xiang Yu. And this is a thing, right? Every single time the VKS step forward, they have to make sure that they have eyes of Ruwa, they have eyes on Luna, because every single time she's going to try and walk up and take the high ground tower.
Yeah, it does make her absent from these neutral objectives, though, so that could be crucial for them. But she is trying to play around the Zhang Yu. They're using it as bait here because they're currently going for a 4v4 under the Shadow Tyrant. They're not going to get it reset, so we do see VKS actually getting another clean neutral objective. But the Sage Sanctuary baits Hans into the team fight. Hans goes down. Dharma is gone by, and there is Long getting wiped out by Lady Sun. That is a 2-0 trade. A Shadow Overlord over to the side of VKS. It's only a matter of time, Stu. Whilst they have that Shadow Vanguard, that's going to relieve that pressure in that bot lane.
The Resurrect was so huge there, the item being picked up there from Seiza, being able to survive that Dharma flash into the back line. That Resurrect was so huge. And then 0-0 tried his best to use his ultimate to try and get onto Lady Sun. But as soon as Long land, Lady Sun was like, boop, your head's gone, see you later. No worries there at all for Seiza. Again, having an incredible performance here on the Lady Sun, a pick that he has played multiple times in both Chok BR Season 2 as well, and has been an incredible pick. And now Kagendra, they're on the back foot. All high ground towers are being taken down, and the split push is no longer an option.
No longer an option, and we see that Luna's trying to keep that Shadow Vanguard away from that crystal. But I think it's probably best here for VKS to not try and be too aggressive, The Vanguards aren't quite around yet. They probably just need to just reformulate what they're going to be doing here. But that completely wipes out all those higher ground turrets now. So the only thing standing between VKS and their second victory within the EWC mid-season invitational is that crystal.
They're trying to step out outside of the base at the moment, as you can see, but every single time they step out the base now, they need to be careful that there's no sort of action happening at their crystal. As you mentioned, they're trying to get priority in this river. I mean, VKS has done so well so far, prioritize it, but Luna looking for the engage, and Seiza actually dropping extremely low. Luckily, he does have that resurrect back up. Now the cooldown has come off, which means that the resurrect is there. So if any of that burst damage does happen again, then Seiza can try and keep himself alive. But KAGE, they really don't want to give away this Shadow Tyrants.
No, the Sage Sanctuary just come back up onto Danny as well, just in time, as he's taken a lot of beatings from the side of KAGE, but Seiza goes down. Lung is able to disengage. Luna has the Sage Sanctuary. That gets procced again, but it's not going to be enough. Lady Jen gets the knock-up as well, so down goes the Luna. Down goes that macro play. You can see that fat blue minion wave in the farm lane as they're trying to push away and force them back into that crystal. We see Zero low, Hans is low. The only thing stopping them from taking that down is the Zhongfei, and that goes down. Mufus goes bye-bye. The minions are here. Is Dharma gonna be able to clean up the minion wave, and does it so brilliantly? We just need to wait for a minion wave to come through, but is it gonna be enough for Dharma and Angela to keep it off? No, it is only Angela alive, and she has not got the Blazing Brilliance on cooldown. Here we go.
Yep.
The victory, baby!
VKS gonna be able to take down KAGE. A huge victory for them to try and make it out of the group stage. That was their final game, and they do end the group stage at 2 and 3. And now it's the nervous wait for VKS to see how the other games go in this group, to see if they need to play potential tiebreakers or they can make it through into the top 8 of this tournament. But that's the VKS we're expecting to see. Obviously having a little bit of struggle, as we saw yesterday in the off-stream games, losing to Vitality. They did beat Impunity, but they did say it was a little bit rough in the end as well. But this is a big win for them to kind of end the group stage strong. But KAGE, on the other hand, they still have one more game left in this group stage, which is actually going to be the next game against Team Secret.
Yeah, I don't know about you, Stu, but that seems like a pretty hard game to me. But KAGE, I have to say, did not go down without a fight, right? They had a great draft. We saw that Hans was proactive. Weero with that macro play as well. That could have been the downfall of VKS if it wasn't for how proactive VKS can be and just correcting those mistakes. But I'm very happy for VKS managed to get a second victory on the board. They deserve it. Main stage buff, baby.
Incredible performance here from VKS. That stage buff that you were talking about, Blam, is coming up absolutely huge here for VKS. A lot of this team has a lot of experience on playing on the main stage. But that's enough about us talking. Let's take a look and go back to the main stage and hear from one of the members from VKS Stars.
Another exciting match taking place right here, and it is your first appearance on the main stage, and it came with a win. What are your thoughts?
É a sua primeira participação no palco principal. Quais são as suas ideias? O que você acha?
Bom, eu estava ansioso para jogar nesse palco. Eu joguei todos no Stage B, mas eu gostei muito mais desse clima aqui com a torcida. Esse palco aqui está incrível e eu fico feliz de estrear esse palco com uma vitória que já estava fazendo falta. A gente não estava tendo boas atuações, mas fico feliz que a gente conseguiu ganhar essa partida.
I was anxious to play here. We did everything in the other stage. This is amazing. This crowd is amazing. We are very happy to start with a win.
Of course, Balabens one more time to you, Danny. Nice to see you. Always a pleasure meeting you. And yeah, we have a lot of your fans and supporters, family and friends coming to the arena, and a lot of fans online. So what do you have in mind? Share some words to your family, to your friends, and to your teammates as well.
A gente tem muita gente aqui, tem os apoiadores, tem a torcida, tem essa família. Diz algumas coisas para eles, diz algumas palavras.
Bom, eu só queria agradecer todo mundo que está acompanhando aqui, todo mundo que está torcendo e também pedir desculpas porque a gente está tendo um resultado ruim nesse campeonato, mas eu acredito que a gente vai conseguir se reerguer agora, principalmente com essa vitória, e continuem torcendo, continuem acreditando que a gente vai fazer o nosso melhor para representar a nossa região bem.
We would like to thank everyone who's been supporting us, and we'd like to say, to apologize because we're not having a good score, but we're going to do our best and we're going to carry on here.
You did your best. I trust you guys.
It's going to be a good one as well. Of course, we're going to see you again on this very main stage. And now, back to the studio for more details.
During all the skills, I mean, there's so much damage thrown onto him.
Yeah, played very, very well. But let me kind of go back to this one because of the fact that I made my biggest mistake today was agreeing with this prediction here. We both chose Kagendra on this one, and Kagendra really did not show up on this game. Vivo Kid Stars were ready for the draft. They understood what they needed to have done. Their strategy was on point.
It is difficult, man. I'm not gonna lie. I don't feel like it was that much as a VKS victory, but it was a Kagendra loss. Every single time that they started the fight, they never actually won a big fight, and they allowed VKS just to take the victory.
Yeah, but more of a force error here. Maybe we can go with that instead, right? You know, Isaac, you were talking a little bit more about the buffs. Maybe you want to share that with the audiences.
Oh, of course, man. Like, if you analyze the BP from Kagendra, the main focus is going to be on what Wiro can do on that Luna. And we know that Luna's extremely blue dependent. If VKS could keep an eye on when the buff was going to spawn, they could always just try to invade and just kind of slow down Wiro. Reason why Wiro decided, like, well, I cannot fight no more, I'm just gonna do the split push.
Yeah, but that's why Vivo Kid Stars, their strategy was on point, trying to limit that as much as possible.
Agree.
And of course, Danny was on point with the high note, just always up in front, being all of that bait. And Senku, how many Blazing Brilliances were expended on Danny?
Yeah.
Too many to count, right? And they were counting on Wiro to have the new moon, but it only happened once in a blue moon.
And it is sad, man. It is very, very, very sad because I just feel like Kagendra came with the momentum, but in the moment that they needed to just give that strong punch, they were always missing.
Kind of hesitant. It didn't seem like they were making really plays that they knew that they were gonna make. Like they were gonna, take over in certain team fights. They were playing very scared not to lose almost.
Yeah, but we have to highlight Niap and Mena as well. Mena, earlier in day one, we were talking about, hey, he was very trigger happy with his skills. This time, he picked Sun Bin, which is, go ahead, throw as many time lapses as you want, as long as you get the correct targets. And Niap was there to soak up the damage. And with the addition of the time flux, he was able to soak in even more damage and use the ultimate to the full potential against Kagendra.
Niap Xiangyu was one of those picks that at the beginning we were not understanding a lot, but it actually paid off, man. Look at that. He's taking the MVP. Sometimes you just need to go back to basics. We knew that in previous seasons, in previous tournaments, that Niap Xiangyu has been really strong. And he just decided when everything is on the line, I really need to come with what is my meta.
Yeah, where was that earlier today, though? I mean, yes, they got it, and Niap really did carry in that